There's a player on the ranked console ladder who hasn't lost a single game. They're 24 wins, 0 losses. Their name is Negigen6000. They started this strategy about 3 weeks ago now, and they've climbed up to the number 34 spot, and they're winning games in record times, with an average game time being 21 minutes. This is insane. Obviously, not their first time playing. It's a new account to just play the strategy that they cooked up, see how far they can go with it, I suppose. You can see their games here. They've beaten some top players. Ax Liho is top 5, IDWare is top 30, Crazy B-Ball is top 60 or so. How are they doing this? Well, they're using a Sicilian Donjon Rush, making sergeants and dropping more dungeons. It's not so complicated. You see this at lower levels all the time, but it usually doesn't work once you go against more skilled and experienced opponents who know how to deal with it. So what does he do differently, and why does this strategy work? Well, that's what I want to figure out. We're going to watch 4 quick matches that take us from his first game to the game where he beats a top 5 player, break down his build orders, how he adapts, and just see what we can learn and discover about it. Stay tuned, enjoy, leave any comments if you have any idea of who this player might be, if you have any idea of like what you would do to defend against this, and anything else that you think you can add to this conversation, because I think this is kind of unique and an interesting moment on the console ladder that I think deserves its own attention. Enjoy. All right, so this is the very first game that Negigen6000 played. He's going up against Ron7456. Great name, Ron. And Ron is a legitimate 733 elo. All right, so this is their first game. They're 1,000 elo. They haven't done anything else yet. I'm really curious what their build order is. I haven't watched these videos yet. I don't know what they're going to do exactly. We've seen a lot of Sicilian Donjon Rushes. But it seems like Negigen is doing something a little bit differently. So let's just kind of watch their build order. And this is their first game, so they might have what I'm thinking is they practiced a whole lot against the AI. You know, got a really good build order. You know, got very consistent with it, and then started playing on the ranked ladder, right? Because you don't go 24-0 without being well versed, and obviously a very solid player. So they have 6 on their starting sheep here. In this case, geese. This is on arena too, which is I'm curious exactly what they do on arena. If they just donge in the front and go in, or what? They're going for the chickens. They scouted with their geese in the back. They still have to collect these 2 geese here. And they have 8 on food right now, which is highly irregular. But I'm thinking that their build order might not change very much. They have not gone for a boar yet. And now 9 on food. This is actually... All right, he has 1 going for the straggler tree. So interesting, it doesn't go to build the lumber camp, just goes for the straggler tree right away. Actually built the mill before the lumber camp, so didn't have enough wood to go up. Didn't have enough wood to get the lumber camp, so they're gonna have to get the wood from the straggler tree, which is doable. All right, so basically their build order here is 9 on food and then 3 on wood so far. And they only have 2 houses. They're at 12 villagers. Let's see when they build another house. And this is what a typical 700's doing. Just FYI. Just killing all their geese. All right, so they have another house going up. Pretty close to their TC. And now we're going for the Ville. And he just got enough to build a lumber camp, put a 4th one on wood. Let's see if they keep them on wood, if they're going to move them. Lumber camp going up. 13 seconds vital TC from Negigen here. 10 on food. We're going to have 4 on wood. All right, so basically it was it 8 food, 4 wood, and then the rest, or was it 9? I think it might have been 9. 2 on the chickens there. That's pretty standard these days. Another house going up. Okay, so they're going to be going past 20 pop. I'm curious if that's just going to be on Arena or if they're going to do that on Arabia as well. Now this boar, Javelina, still has 100 food on it, but they went for the second boar a little early, so they really wanted to get that food in, like, under their TC right away. And now we have a 5th one on wood. So Sicilian Donjons, where are the donjons? I guess you can't see them here. I'm not sure. I gotta look it up what they actually cost. I thought maybe you can see them here. I'm gonna look it up while we have a moment. So 12 on food, 5 on wood, getting a second mill on the berries. So besides having a little extra on food early, it's not really that different of a build order so far. I'm guessing their big changes are going to be coming in Feudal Age. I'm looking up what a donjon costs exactly. Okay, so a donjon is 50 food, 50 wood, and 175 stone. So 50 wood, 175 stone. And then... And I believe it's only the Sicilians that can build them, right? And then sergeants cost 55 food and 25 gold. Alright, so we have a farm coming up here. Another farm coming up here. 23 villagers. Making 24 villagers and going up. I did not see loom come in, so no loom. Okay, I'm curious if this build is going to change at all. Because I mean, they're going up against the 700. You know, it's the first game. Another house. No villagers moving forward yet. And 3 on gold. Nothing on stone yet. Feudal Age coming in. So 2 taking the straggler trees, 3 on the wood line, 3 on gold, everyone else on food. Okay. And this looks like a fast castle. Even though they're going to be a little bit light on the resources that they would need. Market going up, and then they're building that with 4 villagers. Are they planning on selling something at the market? That's what I'm thinking. They'd have to sell their stone. They do get 300 stone. Now they're moving to stone. So let's watch the market, see what happens here. Okay, getting loom right now, and I don't see any market activity. Oh, they built a blacksmith over here. Okay, I missed that. So they built the blacksmith and they built the market at the same time. They really rushed them up with a lot of villagers. And then they only have 25 villagers. They did not build any more villagers. They built 1 more. They went up at 24, I thought. So now they have 25. So they built 1 more villager in that. Now they're building this mining camp to be able to get the donjons. How many do they have on the mining camp? They have 8. So there's 8 on stone, 3 on gold, 8 on food, 6 on wood. That's the build order right here. And these 2 villagers are moving forward, I would assume, to build the donjon. And now the double bid axe is coming in. And 3 more villagers going out there. Now on Arena, I imagine that they didn't really necessarily plan on Arena. They just don't have it banned. I'm gonna have a jaguar get in the mix, but they could actually take these foxes for 30-ish gold apiece. And these 5 villagers are moving forward. Where are they gonna build the donjon? We're at 14 minutes here, still at 25 vills. I don't think they're gonna add any villagers, at least not right now. They have only 3 on wood. And they're actually castle dropping, okay. So it's not going to be a donjon, it's going to be a full castle drop. And this poor 700 player is not going to be able to do anything about this. I mean, 15 minutes in, a 700 player hasn't even clicked up yet to Castle Age. They don't even have a build order, like they don't really know exactly what's going on here. They're trying to fight it with villagers. If they came earlier, they probably could have fought it off, but they went a little bit too late. And the castle is up, and Sergeant's coming out, and that's the GG. Okay, so that's game 1. So really just fast castle into castle drop. Oh, let's get into game 2. I think we learned a little something, but I think we need to really see not on Arena. I think we need to see another game. That's their first game. I really wanted to show their first game. That's their introduction into the ladder here, and you can see how they played. All right, so now we have another game from Nejigen, and this is a much more recent game. So they're playing against Zlatan Knows, who's playing as the Malians. This is a MegaRandom map, so you don't really know what you're going to get. So this should show some sort of flexibility of what their strategy is. But this generation of MegaRandom is really just a lot of extra resources. You have a lot of hunt in the front. You have a lot of these little sheep or pigs. So let's see. I want to see their scouting. So they're scouting with their sheep. They're controlling their sheep on the outside and then bringing them to the inside. Typical high-level play. They're pushing in these deer, which is a lot of effort, kind of. You're not scouting as much, but you do have the sheep to scout with. And I don't know. In this situation, I would just mill on the deer. But obviously, they don't have a problem with pushing in deer. So interesting to think about that for a second. And I'm curious if their build order is going to be similar to what we saw on Arena, or if it's going to be something new. So let's watch and see. Right now, they have 7 on food. No, 8 on food right now. And let's see if they're going to go to wood at any time. And if they're going to do the straggler trees, or if they're going to do something else. Now, they were a little slow. They're pushing deer and trying to take this over here, which is a little complicated. And still sitting 9 on food. A little idle TC, 7 seconds. Nothing crazy, but not a perfect situation. So they did push some deer. This villager is... He put his gather point out here for some reason, like on the outside. 10 villagers on food right now. 0 on wood. Yeah, I don't know where these villagers keep walking out here. Okay, so he's building a house. Does Sicilian start with less food? I mean, less wood? They start with 100 extra stone. Okay, lumber camp going up over here. Oh, so he placed his lumber camp. I didn't see him place the lumber camp, because I'm wondering where all the food or the wood went. I think he's building this forward on purpose, because he's going to want to push with donjons, I think. Let's see. Let's see what the exact strat's going to be. But still pushing deer, not really getting a lot of scouting information. Those sheep have all come back. This villager got a little confused. Build a house. So definitely, he looks like he's going up on 25, or 25 population, 24 villagers is what it seems like the game plan is. This is a later game than like the very first one. And Zlatan knows has almost a minute of idle TC. I'm glad. They're almost a 1400. They shouldn't have a minute of idle TC. I don't know what they're doing over there. I'm gonna keep the fog of war on. I want to see what happens here. This is like a plethora of resources. Like, you really don't usually ever have this much hunt. And already going to stone. So I think this might be because of the MegaRandom, because of all the hunt. There's just no need for a mill on the boar. But Nejigen is at 19 villagers, 20 pop, and just got Loom. Has another villager on the way. So they got Loom a little early. I'm not sure why. They weren't housed. They should have plenty of food, but they decided to get Loom a slightly earlier. And they're going to stone now. 5 going to be on stone, it looks like. All right, so we have 5 on stone, and we have Feudal Age coming up now. And this was at 21 pop. And now their scout is actually going to scout. Another house going up. That's actually kind of interesting because they aren't like you get enclosed to house, right? They had 21 out of 25 population space. But Feudal Age coming in, actually coming in for their opponent as well. They should have a pretty good idea of where their opponent is. Sometimes these generations of MegaRandom are just kind of straight across from each other. It's usually pretty obvious if you've played a bunch. Okay, so we found the wood line. He's going to find the TC in a second. Let's see how he reacts to it. Yep, saw the TC, kind of turned the corner there right a second ahead. Guessing they kind of planned on it. They kind of thought that they were going to see it. And now the villagers are moving forward. They're moving forward through the darkness. The scout did scout. The scout's trying to get ahead of them to kind of shine some light on them. More villagers in the queue. Feudal Age is in. Let's check back at their base, see what they're doing. So 3 on gold seems like the build. 5 on stone seems like the build. Everyone else is on 3 on wood, and then everyone else is on food. And it was 4 that came up. And interesting, so they're building the donjon on the berries, not on the wood line. Maybe it's because it was closer. And they're walling it in, too. And as this blacksmith comes up. All right, so the donjon is up. We have 4 sergeants in queue. And sergeants are coming out. At this point, you really don't need these villagers anymore. Like, just to wall these in, I suppose. And then once they're walled in, I mean, even walling it in is kind of... Like, you want to be able to take the sergeants out of it, so you can't wall it fully in. You have to have at least a little gap. It does make it harder to the villager rush, though. Now the sergeants come over here. They build a donjon over here. Now, I mean, I think I've seen this strategy many times. I don't think this is, like, revolutionary. So why is he winning so much? Like, what about this build is different than every other build? 5 on stone, 3 on gold. We actually have a militia rush over here. Militia rush you can fight off with villagers, though. And so the villagers are building another donjon. So it's not just the sergeants building donjons. That's a little bit different. Usually you just see the sergeants building donjons. So the sergeants came out. They went to the right side over here. The villagers, after they finished this donjon, they went to the left side and built another one. So that's a little bit different. Sometimes you don't see that. Sometimes you actually see a donjon at their base. And then you see... the villagers never move forward. So he's moving forward with the villagers almost like it's a tower rush. He didn't get any blacksmith upgrade. Doesn't even have a blacksmith, I don't think. Yeah, no blacksmith. Still building villagers at 24 villagers. So stop building villagers for a while. No farms. They still have some hunt here. And these villagers are trying to run, but they have nowhere to go. And they're going to call it. Okay. Curious what we see. Obviously, military. Military came out at 11 minutes. And can we see where the villager production is? I don't know how to see that on here. Society, I think, and it's under villagers. I don't know where it is. So villager max was 25, but I wanted to see like when he made them and when he didn't. Ah, you can see it here. Okay. So 20, this one he was going up. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So there's a little bit of a time here where there was no villagers being made, it would look like. Okay, let's get into the next game. I think we can learn something from that. All right, we have another game here. This is Nejigen versus Infuse Sigma. Infuse Sigma is playing as the Franks. Nejigen still is the Sicilians. Infuse Sigma is a 15-28, so no slouch. Definitely a little higher level player than we've seen so far. This was a game on Arabia. So let's go to their viewpoint here. So again, scouting with the sheep. They're gonna need another sheep to take soon, though. I'm curious if they're gonna mess that up or what's gonna happen here. Yeah, one sheep has to come back pretty soon. Let's see how good their timing is. And pretty good timing. Pretty good timing. Wow, that's actually like perfect timing. Okay, so they're good with timings. That's solid. They're still scouting with their sheep. They can find the other sheep here. They see the boar. They see the other boar. They kind of see everything they need to see at this point. I think they have all of their sheep as well. They just have to go over here and get this one, but they can see it. And let's see. So now they're doing something a little bit different. And this might just be more of in a Arabia build. But they have built their lumber camp with their 7th villager, which is much more standard. Like, that's a standard build. 6 on food and then 2 or 3 on wood. And they're actually, yeah, they're a little idle time there. This is not a perfect game. In no way have I seen Nejigen play just, like, perfectly. And they're using one of their wood villagers to actually lure this boar. Putting villas in the TC to shoot the boar. They did it. Curious how much of this... Nope, nothing. So, I mean, timing-wise, very, very solid, very high level. None of that is easy to do in terms of, like, the timing on it. And 10 seconds vital TC, which is actually not great. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's still a lot of little mistakes I'm seeing from them. But they know how to win. And they know how to win at a high level. So 1,528 probably is top 150 or so. Maybe top 200. I'm not sure. This is really weird. They're like starting to build things and then like moving a villager a little bit and then coming back. Like it's just like weird misclicks. And they found the deer and they're pushing them in. And pushing in the deer at the same time when you're luring a boar is also pretty high level. It's very difficult to do that. Not impossible. I can do it. You know, I'm not that high level of a player. But it's definitely a little trickier. All right, so they just have 3 on the wood. Everyone else is on food. So, I mean, honestly, pretty standard feudal build here. Nothing really super unusual yet. And again, this player only plays as Sicilians, and they are 24-0. They have not lost one game. and they're ranked like number 30 right now. So, you know, if you can play the same Civ and get to the top 30, I mean, it either says the Civ is broken or you're just really good at this one strategy and no one really has figured out how to stop it. They do play team games, and they have lost in plenty of team games. But team games are very different. You know, you can't do these kind of strategies. You know, whatever you want to call this. If you want to call it a cheesy strategy, if you want to call it something else. Is he going to garrison? Garrison. A little too late, though. Maybe he's going to get the kill. No, didn't get it. Oh, yep, he got it. He got it. Crazy. All right, so now he's going on stone. Only has 4. Had 5 before. The last game we saw was actually played, I believe, after this game. So maybe there's a little bit of a testing. Maybe 5 is too many. Maybe 4 is kind of a little bit of a sweet spot. I guess we shall see. There's 4 on wood now. And these villagers are going forward. They actually don't know where they're going. So because of the deer pushing, the scouting is really far behind. So they have no idea where the base is. It almost seems like he has an idea, the way he's running over here. But the scout... So you can kind of tell by the tiles of gold about where the base is, but you don't know if it's like, you know, north, south, east, west. Like, you just know it's somewhere near it, right? So these villagers are walking very close. Once they see this stone, they should know that they're very, very close to the base. And they see this gold. I mean, they see the gold. Now they're just going to build a donjon. They could have gotten in big trouble here if they went a little bit closer. But we have a militia out. This is actually, like, this could be really tough for Nejigen here. If his militia can somehow deny this, if they attack with the villagers too, this is what I want to see. Like, at higher levels, like, these villagers would not be able to get this donjon up. Like, they're going to get it up now. But at a higher level, you would have attacked with these villagers. You could counter tower. And now the sergeants are coming out. We have another donjon coming up right next to this donjon. We'll check back at the base here. I want to see how many are on stone. 4 on stone now. 2 on gold. So before we saw 5 on stone and 3 on gold. And 4 on wood right now. Okay. And I'm gonna take the Fog of War off. And Infused Sigma is making has an archery range. It doesn't have any archers in queue. And we just have another donjon for these villagers going up there. These sergeants are more attacking. So the donjon is 150 stone. I think the 4 on stone is not enough to have the villagers and the sergeants build donjons. And just like that, the GG. I mean, it would have been really tough to win that, but I don't know. I don't know if that was necessarily a GG moment. I mean, I guess it is, because these villagers are a lot of them are going to die probably. And what do you do with these donjons surrounding you? Okay, so that was very fast. You can see how, like, this is just a very frustrating strategy for any other player. And we were still at 24 villagers, so I don't think they made any more villagers. That might be the difference in the reasoning, the reasoning for having 4 as opposed to having 5 on the stone and having 2 on the gold instead of having 3 on the gold, just because it's tough to get the villagers. Yeah, so we had 21 villagers, and that's it. There was no more than 21 villagers. Okay, interesting. Let's get into the next game. All right, now we have a real challenge for Nejigen here. They're still the Sicilians, obviously. They're going up against Crazy B-Ball for Life. Crazy B-Ball for Life is 1677 elo when they played this game. Nejigen was 1716 elo. Let's see what the build looks like, if it's going to be the same or if it's going to be different. I'm guessing it's going to be similar to what we saw last game. They stopped building villagers at 21 villagers, which is crazy. It's an all-in. Okay, so I'm kind of figuring this out, right? And we have to watch more, but I think it's kind of an all-in Sicilian Rush, which I think you see the Sicilian Donjon Sergeant Rush a lot, but I don't think you see the all-in Sicilian Donjon Rush a lot. I think that they do it more like a Man-at-Arms kind of a play. But this is really an all-in, including villagers building donjons. So it's not just the sergeants, it's the villagers too. And I mean, like, honestly, like, this is not perfect. Like, that villager should have been sent to the wood line to a tree to chop the tree, right? It shouldn't have gone to the wood line to stand there. You know, so it's not like the end of the world. Like, that's, you know, a couple of seconds of idle time, but you think with such a tight strategy like this, you'd have to be really perfect with it, but there's a little room for error. And it's super hypercritical, obviously, but... All right, so we have 2 on the wood line. This one's going for the boar. So last time I think we saw 3 on the wood line, but it might have been 3 on the wood line and then 1 went to the boar. And same thing, this villager was kind of out of place. But Crazy People for Life, I mean, I've played against them. They're very solid. I hear, is it Crazy People for Life? I hear they might be from my state. I'm from Connecticut. I don't know if they're from Connecticut. But if they are, yo, what up, fam? And we have deer pushing in. Where are the deer, actually? Did he push them all in? Oh, way over here. Man, I do not push deer on Arabia like that. That is just a hard thing to do. And Crazy People for Life, I'm kind of curious how their build order might be a little different. Getting their second boar. And they're playing as the Burgundians. Second board about to come in from Nejigen. And 4 on wood. So they've been going to a little 4 on wood, which you don't see 4 on wood. I'm trying to think why they're doing 4 on wood. Right, you're building donjons, which cost 50 wood, which isn't that much. They're not building a lot of villagers, so it's not like they need a lot of farms, but maybe that's their game plan, is to build a lot of farms. Like if their opponent doesn't quit very early, they're going to need a lot of farms to keep up the sergeant production. But sergeants weren't that heavy on wood. I mean, I can't speak on food. Yeah, they are. I had to take that back. 55 food, 25 gold. So they're not heavy on gold, actually. They're more heavy on food. So that's why they think they're doing 4 on wood early, because they've tweaked it enough to realize that they're going to need farms if they're going to continue the production. Because once these berries run out, once these run out, the geese/sheep, and they're going up at... Interesting. So they're getting loom after they click up. So they went up at 20 pop. Very tight build order here. And now we have 5 going onto stone. No, these 4 are going full. So only 1 on stone. So when are the other ones going to go on stone? 3 going on gold now? So it's not that tight of a build order. It's actually a little loosey-goosey. Let's see what he sees here. So they don't know. They're also, because they're pushing the deer in, their scouting is super far behind. Like, these villagers have no idea where they're going. They're just running across the map. That's a 3-tile stone. So they'll know that's not their main stone. But they think that they might be over here. Okay, so they have the villagers forward. Crazy Meatball for life getting wheelbarrow right away. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy Meatball for life. That's like super, super crazy actually. And stable coming up now for Crazy Meatball. So Nejigen knows where they are. Let's go back to their base here. They are adding a villager. So at 20 villagers, they're going to go to 21. And they're still taking their geese and their berries. They haven't built any farms yet. They only have 1 on stone. When did these guys go to stone? And he didn't even shift queue these. So this, again, not a perfect build here. Donjon going up on the wood line. And just with the 1 on stone. Okay, this is an interesting variant. I didn't expect to see that. Because then you can, I mean, you can build another donjon right now. I see. And then the difference here is 1 is building these walls around. And the other ones are not. And then the sergeant's out. No more villagers being built. So 21 villagers. Sticking at 21. But we have scouts coming out. Again, Crazy Meatball is a very, very high player. I mean, top 50 player probably. Something like that. And good wall. This kind of is an unfortunate wall for Nejigen. But once the sergeants are here, these villagers really can't fight a bunch of sergeants. And it's an all-in. There's 4 on food back at home. And these scouts are out here. The scouts can probably deal with most of this. Another donjon going up on the wood line here. Scouts going down, fighting with the vills. Lost a villager. Lost 2 villagers, actually, because they made a villager. And now they added more onto stone here. So they're going to run out of these berries pretty soon. There's 300 food left on those berries. And they have no farms. And just donjons going up everywhere, so took him off of his berries, took him off of his main wood line. Had to build another, had to go over here. So 3 donjons are up. 45 food in the bank. Doesn't have resources to build any more. Has some sergeants out. Has 7 sergeants out, which is a lot, but doesn't have resources to build any more. They just may put more on food. So they're adding some farms now. And another donjon going up. It's pretty cool you can build them with the sergeants and the villagers at the same time. Like, that's actually pretty cool. And just surrounded with donjons. There's gonna be 5 donjons around this base. And these villagers are, they can batter this down. Like, this is not a bad play at all. Just a lot of idle villager time. Even though Crazy Meatball is up 26 villagers. 26 villagers to 21, I should say. 27 to 21. But they can't farm because they have donjons all around them. I mean, they must feel like, you know, if Nejigen has good economy, then they must feel like they're way behind, but they're up 7 villagers. And what are the stats on a donjon? I mean, on a sergeant. Sergeant has 1 pierce arm, which isn't that much. They have 50 HP, which is a lot. This is a very tough strat. The all-in donjon, but the problem with these two is this one's not covering that one, and there's just no resources for blacksmith, so it's not like you can't get any upgrades. 3 on gold, actually 6 on stone, which is probably, yeah, it seems like 5 would have been enough. A palisade gate here, which is these villagers are hitting the palisade gate instead of just walking around. Crazy People is still up 26 to 21 villagers. Like, they still have the villager. There's only 8, but they haven't farmed anything. They haven't gathered a resource in who knows how long. The worker efficiency the last minute is 12% for Crazy B-Ball. A lot of these buildings going down. Crazy People still trying to farm over here. And we got the repair villager on this donjon too. So donjon have 8 range. I think it's the same as a tower. I don't know if a tower has 7 or 8. But the TC only has 6. So the TC is always going to be outranged by these donjons. These villagers don't know where to go. Walling this first one in is pretty epic. Crazy People ran these villagers over here, built a mill, and has been farming over here. And they actually have 3 farms that are seeded, or need to be seeded. And they're still up 24 villagers, but these villagers can't really do... They can't really work anywhere. I mean, they could have come back here. And Crazy People is putting up a good fight here, but a lot of these villagers are like a couple hits away from death. And just, oh man, this is so messy. This is just so freaking messy for Crazy B-Ball. Like they probably don't know what to do here. And Nejigen has only played 24 games. They've only played a handful of high-level players. So it's not like everyone knows what to expect. Like, I think after this video comes out, everyone's gonna know what to expect. Sorry. I apologize. But if you're a one-trick pony, sometimes, you know, once they figure out your trick. But how do you beat this? I mean, these are all walled into. So the town center, basically, villagers can't really work easily around the town center. You know, the reason why this works, I think, is because initially everything around your base is around your base, right? So your lumber camp, your mill, everything is pretty darn close. Handcart coming in for Crazy B-Ball for life. So handcart makes you walk faster. So maybe he's thinking he can get these villagers away. Villagers are walking at 0.88. Sergeants are pretty slow already. They're at 0.95. So 0.97. So yeah, actually getting handcart gets the villagers faster than the sergeants taking a run away. But he has nowhere to work. Another donjon coming up. So it's just donjon. It's just like infinite donjons, essentially. And we have this little area over here and a lumber camp over here for Crazy B-Ball. And it's still just 22 villagers for Nejigen. Nejigen has just not added villagers. Like, it's just not part of the strategy. This isn't, it's an all-in. It's just an all-in. I don't say like just an all-in. Like, that's just what it is. It's an all-in. And then Crazy B-Ball is housed. These villagers are running over here, actually. So even though Nejigen has so few villagers, they're all working for the most part, except for like the ones that are building donjons up front. But all these guys are working. So the resources coming in is going to be much higher. Res collected, Nejigen has 7,700. Crazy B-Ball has 5,500. And I keep in mind, like literally 95, 98% of players would lose to Crazy B-Ball for life. Like, without a doubt. And the problem is you can't really do this because the minimum distance, the wall, is pushing these villagers out of the minimum distance. So they have to break through this wall to get to the donjon, which maybe they can. Now they did. Now what? And if somehow Nejigen could get a blacksmith up, and these villagers are going down over here. So Nejigen did a good job of like scouting around and just like finding, like just chasing all these villagers all over the map. And Crazy B-Ball is doing what like top players do. Like they just keep playing. You have to have a sense that, you know, their economy is pretty bad. Even though your economy is decimated, you have to think like they had to sacrifice a lot. At this point, you probably can figure that their economy is a lot better than yours. But Crazy B-Ball is still building villagers, whereas Nejigen, they're at 24, so they added a couple here and there, but for the most part, they're just building donjons. Like, it's just, is this donjon necessary? Is this do anything? I don't know. It just attacks anything around the TC. So most players, I think what's different about this strategy that I'm seeing is most players do these sergeants and they are trying to get to castle age because sergeants get like, they go from like 50 HP to like 75 or something crazy. So I think that that's the big difference. And now we have a play. We have a play from Crazy B-Ball. It's got the scouts, 5 scouts. He's repairing these donjons too. He's at 600 stone, almost. But if Crazy B-Ball can get some damage, they're falling behind on villagers, and these villagers have really, this is the only place they can work. And he's got 20 wood, and he only has 1 wood in the bank. So he doesn't have to build a lumber camp. But I think if you wanted to beat this and he knew it was coming, which anytime you're playing against Nejigen right now, you know it's coming, you'd want to spread your economy out as much as possible. Like put your lumber camp, you know, on a farther wood line, take a farther gold. Like if you spread things out more, you'd be better off. But I think that Nejigen would find it, so you'd have to, you know, do damage. Or go up at like a super high, like a super low population and just get like archers out. Or man-at-arms at least to kill the villagers coming in. I mean, it's tricky because I mean you can see how well it works. You just can't let him, you know, snowball with the donjons. Or a lot of these these all-in strategies, if you just go full scouts, a lot of times you can beat them. And the Sicilians, they repair faster, don't they? Their fortifications build faster, so I think that means that they repair faster too. But I'm not sure about that. But if they do, then like they can out-repair you. And this is 19 villagers to 17. And these scouts are doing some work. The scouts have 4 kills. Like that's not, you know, that's not nothing. But the worker efficiency, 2% in the last minute for Crazy B-Ball, because he's just trying to fight these guys. And down to 18, it still has more vills. 18 vills versus 17. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. But now these villagers are going down to 15 vills. Should have tried to run these maybe while the scouts come and help. Still 10 sergeants out on the field. And Crazy B-Ball is like looking somewhere else, I think. Not really a lot of places to look at. They're on the 13 vills now. They're trying to battle these out. And yeah, once Castle came in for Nejigen, and then Crazy B-Ball quits, which is understandable. Yeah, they go to 75. They get double the armor, and then they get 75 health, and I'm sure they get more attack too. So yeah, most players play to get to Castle Age, but Nejigen doesn't seem to really care about Castle Age. Just seems to care about building these donjons around the bases. We have one more game I want to show you guys. It's against the top player that Nejigen has played and beaten. So let's see what he does. All right. Final game. Everything we got. Nejigen versus Ax Liho. Leo's playing against the Gurjaras. Leo is number 5 on the ladder. He's the 5th highest rated player on the controller ladder. There are 4 players who are better than him currently on the controller ladder. Does not get much better than this, right? We're playing on Arabia again, which seems to be a pretty good map for this strat. After the last game, I was thinking about it, and I was talking to my buddy, because he's a much lower level, and he gets donjon rushed at lower levels, right? I think what makes this strategy very powerful is the all-in aspect of it. It's just very hard to stop. But the best, it's a tough strategy to beat. You can do a couple things. You can try to fast castle, like if you just see there's Sicilians and you think you're going to get donjon rushed, just fast castle, get a castle of your own. Maybe that's not the best strategy because they can take you off stone, they can take you off gold, they can take you off, wood, food, whatever. But if you get the timing right, you can fast castle pretty much as quickly as they can get like their donjon up and start pushing you. So that's something to think about. The other option is to get early military out and go attack them. They're spending so much resources attacking you. If you go attack their stone, if you go attack their wood, their gold, whatever it is, if you can do damage to them, it's probably more than they can do to you. Because if you're getting attacked at your base and you're running around, you're not being efficient, like we saw last game, if you go attack them at their base, you can, kill them. Now, this is a high-level all-in strat, and, might have to kind of think about it a little bit differently. We have 3 on wood this time, so we've seen up to 4 on wood. So I think what I'd like to do, maybe when I edit this video, is kind of go through it and just kind of see what the build order really is. And if it seems to vary slightly, so maybe Nejigen is still sort of figuring out what the best way to do this is. Which is kind of scary when you think about it, because he's already beating, extremely top, high-rated players. And he hasn't lost yet. He's just been doing this strategy without losing. He's just not been punished. Pushing in some hunt. And most of these games really haven't been close. I mean, the last game was, and that was against Crazy B-Ball. I wonder if Nejigen, I don't know, they obviously, this is not their only account, right? This is, I wouldn't say a Smurf account, but it's definitely another account that they're just doing this strategy with. So are they good, or are they just good at this strategy? That's the thing that I want to find out. They're good. They're definitely good, without a doubt. No question about it. But are they significantly better than this strategy? Are they, one of the players who hasn't played in a long time, like a Faith 2 Adventure or a Vulcan Loop, or someone who would just win anyway? I don't think so. Based on what I've seen, they make a lot of little simple mistakes. Even just the idle TC, the best of the best don't have idle TC like that. So I think this is actually a lower ranked player than they currently are. They're ranked at 1755. I don't think this person's main account is higher than 1755. I could be wrong. We don't know who they are. I've tried to figure it out. I've talked to them a little bit. They've been very elusive. They say, "Oh, I just started playing. Oh, I just watched some videos on Hera playing." But they're obviously kind of tongue in cheek with it all. So maybe one day we'll be certain who it is. I have a couple guesses right now. I've talked to a few people who have a couple of guesses. And And Leo is playing more or less kind of standard here, right? We got 2 lumber camps going up. They'll have plenty of wood when they get up. They're going to have a good amount of food. The thing with the Gurjaras is they put their sheep in their mill, which gives them a trickle of food forever. But I think it doesn't necessarily pay off like right away compared to just taking the sheep. And you have to find other sources of food. You have to either build farms or you have to get these berries. You have to find other sources of food. But he's taking some of them out of his mill and milling them. I never like the phrase eating them. It sounds weird. You know, I feel like they're like preparing them to be eating, like butchering them, you know? And Nejigen's going to lose their scout. Yeah, that's actually kind of big. But they already are here with a donjon. They're actually, this is interesting. They're actually in Dark Age. So donjons don't shoot arrows until they're in Feudal Age, but this timing is really, really good. And his house isn't even going to get completed, so that's a waste of a house, which means Leo is housed, so that's pretty huge. This wood line is denied. We have sergeants coming out. Only 18 vills for Nejigen, so this was a completely different build order than what we saw before. And this might be like the you know, cut out all the stops here. Getting trapped in here by Leo. Leo with the great play. And they're going man-at-arms. And that's their strategy. So sergeants have 2 melee armor and 50 health, which is a lot in Feudal Age. Man-at-arms, I don't necessarily think are the best unit against them. I don't know if they get a bonus. I don't think so. Man-at-arms get a bonus against shock infantry, and I think, and sergeants do too, actually. But I don't know if they count as shock infantry. I don't think that sergeants count as shock infantry. I think they're just regular infantry. So I don't think there's going to be any bonus against them. That is something I would like to know for sure, though. I'm not sure. I don't think that they're not considered shock infantry. Shock infantry is like Eagle Warriors, John Swordsman, Berserks, like units like that. So we have the donjon up on the wood line. We have the sergeants taking out the mill, which for Gurjars is pretty bad, but actually he took all these out already, so he kind of got what he needed out of the mill. It's only one more sheep in there. But 2 donjons. And we're trying to get some walls up here. Only 2 donjons. Back at, it's kind of the same build order. 5 on stone, 3 on gold. We have some on wood, and then some on food. But no more villagers being built. It's mostly just build as many sergeants as he can. Yeah, since he has the food, builds the sergeants. So these man-at-arms are actually gonna be pretty good. They probably don't have arson. They're taking some hits. But these donjons aren't actually denying a whole lot right this second. It's really the gold you want to deny. And a tower coming up for Leo. Leo, I don't know if that tower there is really the best. You probably want it more on the gold. I'm not sure why you'd build a tower here. I guess to protect the bush, the berries. All right, but the sergeants are taking out buildings. Man-at-arms are over here. Man-at-arms, they have just 6 attack. Sergeants have 5 attack and 2 armor. Man-at-arms have 6 attack and 1 armor. So the 2 armor means that they're taking 4 damage from a man-at-arms. And the 1 armor means that they're taking 4 damage. They take the same amount of damage, but the man-at-arms have 45 health, and the sergeants have 50 health. So, pound for pound, in even numbers, the sergeants are going to be stronger than the man-at-arms. those are ever so slightly faster, which is interesting. These 2 more donjons coming up, denying the gold here, is huge. Leo did go to this back gold, but up 7 villagers. This is what's so interesting about the strategy, is that Nexigen is just all in, and they're not all in on infantry, on sergeants necessarily. They're all in on donjons and sergeants. Now let's compare this watchtower to the donjon, actually. So we're talking 5 attack, 7 pierce damage, and 8 range. Donjon, 5 attack, 7 pierce damage, and 8 range. Difference is 1250 HP versus 850 HP. So you're never going to win a tower battle. The towers just keep the villagers a little farther away. And these sergeants get trapped in here a little bit. And Arson just came in for Leo. But the sergeants, they're trapped in, but they can still build a donjon to do what they got to do, right? And then these villagers over here building donjons. But you see, out of stone, though. Nexigen is out of stone. Negigen is out of stone. And it's only on 23 villagers, so... And we have 12 sergeants out there. There's only 4 man-at-arms left. Mill way in the back over here. Now, if you build another donjon over here, I mean that's gonna be trouble. How many donjons do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And an interesting outpost over here, just to get vision, I guess. I mean, obviously that's what outposts do. I guess these villagers actually aren't doing anything, so that's not a bad idea. We have Arson coming in for Negigen. And you can see just how quickly, like, these donjons just, like, surround you and just kind of take you out of where you want to be. And Leo's doing a really good job of keeping his villagers working. Like, the difference between this and last game is the res collected is still higher for Leo. Leo has 6,300 versus 5,500. And these villagers are repairing to keep these sergeants. I mean, there's 8 sergeants there. But you're not going to be able to out-repair 8 sergeants attack. I mean, I guess they can't all. There's only like 4 that are actually attacking. But now there's 9. And these actually went for... So this is the kind of thing that you have to do. Is just go get some counter damage. Especially because it's all in. You know, you can't afford to build sergeants and villagers at the same time. You just can't. But he did clear that up, though. And after that arson comes in, that barrack's gonna go down pretty fast. And just send a villager over here to, like, scout a bit. At 20 villagers, but 15 sergeants. I mean, if Leo could somehow get to Castle Age, but it's just how do you get the food? Like, you have to choose not to build military and not to build villagers, which is just so, like, you know, counter to what you want to do. But really good damage control from Leo. But these houses are going to go down fast. We got Arson is been in for a little bit. So all these buildings are going to go down pretty quickly now. And there's 17 of these sergeants here. I see. So Negigen sent to villagers to build these outposts everywhere. That's how he ended up finding this. The villager came to build an outpost and just ended up finding it. And these villagers probably can just attack this donjon, but there's going to be sergeants out there to kill them. Still an 8 villager lead for Negigen, but where do you go from here? Your TC is completely surrounded by donjons. Negigen is building some villagers here. and that's it. And I get quitting here, but you know, Leo is up 6 villagers. You know, definitely like could just take all these villagers and just run them to another side of the map. That's what I would consider doing at like a point like this, and obviously not super efficient. But if you can get there long enough to get to Castle Age, you know, you can get stone somewhere. You can put a forward castle maybe, or you can put a castle near your base and take out these donjons with it maybe. I don't know. It's really a wild strategy. It's a donjon rush, but it's an all-in donjon rush is what it is. So we see donjon rushes where they try to get to Castle Age. Nejigen does not care about Castle Age. It does not matter to Nejigen. He is not worried about Castle Age. He's only worried about doing as much damage as possible in Feudal. And they just beat the 5th, you know, best player in theory right now. So it obviously works. I don't know if there's really much to say about it. Is it an OP strategy? Is it an OP tactic that Nejigen has kind of tweaked into an unstoppable thing? I don't know. I'd like to see a Vulcan Loop or a Choud or someone like that like go up against this and see if they can stop it, to see like what they can do. Because now I think after this video comes out, it'll be a little bit more obvious, a little bit more clear to, you know, if any of the top players are watching this. I'm not sure, you know, if they all watch this, but if they do, I think it'll be a little bit more clear of what the strategy is, and then, you know, using their minds and their skills, they might be able to figure out an easy way to beat this. But we haven't seen it yet. 24-0 right now. This guy's not lost. I'm curious if he's going to keep going or if he's had his fun and that's it. I mean, I would say whoever you are, Nejigen, keep going. See how far you can get. See if you can get to number 1. Play until someone beats you. This was the best we've seen, the best player, and I would say the best like attempt, and nothing they could have done. You know, I mean, nothing that they did do worked, and it seemed like they were kind of doing the right things, but just too many donjons, too many sergeants. So, all right, I'm going to keep everyone informed, and you know, I think I'm going to hold off on sharing my opinion on who this might be. There's a couple players that have kind of become suspects, if you will, and I think I'm going to hold off a little bit and just kind of see maybe if we can get a little bit more information on it. But it's definitely an interesting strategy that I want to see someone stop. I want to see someone figure out how to do it. You know, do you go archers? Do you go all in scouts? Do you try to fast castle? Do you tower rush on your own? Like, what's the best strategy if you see Nejigen on the other side? So I actually matched with him, and luckily I got an error in the lobby. Like, he actually messaged me and said that I had dodged him, and I don't dodge people. I play whoever. I don't care if I lose, I lose. But I just got an error in the lobby, and I looked into him. And I was like, who the heck is this guy? And they messaged me, so it was like, they wanted a little bit of conversation. Like, I think they kind of want people to see what they're doing a little bit, which is totally understandable. So, all right, thanks for watching. I really enjoyed videos like this. So I hope I can bring you more. Hopefully you guys enjoy them too. See ya.